Hey everybody, video here for you today. Now we are going to document a couple ancient American sites that are really close together, and I'm just being thorough here. Hope this isn't boring to anybody, but I wanted to do this one today before I move on to some more in-depth videos, some longer videos. Also, over the next few days, a few songs from my friend Callie Tucker. We haven't uploaded any songs since I think last spring, but last night, perfect chance to upload a few videos. And Callie is a dear friend, one of the most talented and hard-working people I know. Her mom is LaCosta, her aunt is Tanya. But Callie Tucker is making a name for herself in Las Vegas, and she's one of the most talented, nicest people I know. So, a few videos from Callie coming up. But today we are going down to Marksville, Louisiana. We're going to document another ancient American site here in this town. Here you see the mound up here in the top right. This site is on the very east side of town here along the river. We're going to go down, take a look at it today, just do a little bit of reading, and then jump over to another site nearby. There was earthen walls around this site. One still exists today. Here's a site from overhead. 2 mounds exist today. About 5 of them have been removed, but they were doing alignments to the heavens here. Here is a map of the site. There was an earthen wall around this place, and in some places I guess there was 2 walls. But the mounds here, the 2 large ones still remain today, and then there were smaller ones here. Here, down on Street View, you can see this earthen wall as it exists today. Probably was much higher in ancient times, but here, 3,300 feet long, and in circles or forms a C around this place. Here is the wall, and then here is the entrance. And then you see the wall disappearing under the trees right here, but that certainly would have taken a lot of time, almost, 2/3 of a mile long. Let's read that sign right there. It says, Marksville is a ceremonial center with 2 earthen ridges enclosing 7 mounds. Indians built these earthworks between 100 BC and 400 AD. So this is kind of in alignment with the Adena period from farther north. It says, during that time, the site covered 200 acres and included other earthworks that are now destroyed. The pottery here is very similar to the Hopewell in Ohio and Illinois. And it says Indians built these earthworks, and are we just generalizing there in a major way? Here we are at the museum parking lot, and you can see one mound in the background there. And then on the other side of the building here, there is a large conical mound. Here's the conical mound in a pic from the 1930s from the State Library of Louisiana. And these are very similar to the Adena type mounds in Ohio and Tennessee and a few other places. Now here is one website I will leave below. It says the Marksville site originally consisted of at least 2 earthen embankments enclosing 7 earthen mounds. Much of the site has been obscured by agriculture and the development of the town of Marksville, but the Marksville State Historic Site includes the largest embankment and 6 mounds. Construction of these earthworks began around 2,000 years ago, and the site was used for nearly 400 years. And the date in this, some sites push it back a few more centuries, but it says at the park, the C-shaped embankment is 3,300 feet long and up to 10 feet high and encloses 40 acres. Mound 6 at the north end of the plaza is 300 feet in diameter and 12 feet high. It says Mound 2 at the southern end of the plaza is 310 feet by 280 feet and currently 12 feet high. Its function is unknown. Mound 4 was a cemetery, 100 feet in diameter and 30 feet high, where at least 36 men, women, and children were buried. These individuals may represent the families or clan who designed the site and conducted the ceremonies here, and that is just pure speculation. The 3 mounds, 3, 5, and X, have an unknown purpose. It says Marksville was a ceremonial center where people from nearby villages gathered for important social and religious events. And I know people just love that generalization of these sites. But the movement of the sun, moon, and stars determined the timing of these ceremonies, and apparently there were some alignments built in here. From Mound 5, lines of sight to other mounds mark the rise and set on the horizon of the sun, moon, and important stars in the Milky Way, and I'm sure Orion was included in that, and maybe Cygnus too. One important ceremony was the burial of honored members of the community. Now, one of the local TV stations was here, and I'll leave this website below, and I'm just going to play a brief, maybe 30-second clip from this video here.
Between 40 and 50 bodies were found, or partially remains, and some artifacts. But we know that this was a place of respect for the people that lived here. And watch what was going on in the field right there.
It's a commanding view of the mound site.
When you look at Marksville, there are clearly some very interesting alignments.
When scientists mapped the alignments of the mounds, they found a perfect north-south and east-west orientation.
The sun's going to set down into X.
And mounds that point to the summer and winter solstice.
I just cannot accept that that's coincidental.
Researchers have uncovered artifacts that help them piece together the story of these Native Americans who lived here for 4 centuries and then abandoned the site.
People didn't stay in the same place. I mean, we don't stay in the same place today for all kinds of reasons.
But after 2,000 years, so many questions remain. Why was so much effort put into building these massive earthworks? And what happened to the ancient people of Marksville?
But in my Egypt videos, I have talked about how the Egyptians equated the movements of the sun to their stories on Earth, and it seems they were doing it here too. Now here's some of the artifacts that were found at Marksville, some pottery fragments, jewelry, copper, and whatever this is here down at the bottom, you can chime in if you have a thought on that. But the platform pipes, effigy pipes, I've talked about those numerous times. It says the pipes were relatively broad, flat vases approximately 3 inches long. At one end was a hole for a wooden or reed pipe stem, and in the center was a bowl. So removable stems, just to keep the pipe clean. You don't need to clean them. That's probably a pretty good idea. And I have speculated on what they were smoking. But I have talked about the animal effigy pipes, and these were found in burial mounds, so representing maybe a spirit animal of the individual or something like that, maybe. But the smoke rising up from these pipes, these animal effigy pipes, the smoke rising up to the heavens, probably had some symbolism to it. So that was the Marksville site. Now we are going to go take a look at the Crooks Mound Site. And this is a little different story up here, but this was obviously a very important place to these ancient people. Let's just read why. Now here is the website that I use for the Marksville Mounds. I'll also use it for this one. Here is a diagram, and it says the 2 mounds at the Crooks site no longer exist. But as you see here, there could have been 3 mounds here originally, and they are kind of at a slant, kind of like some other places I know. Did that represent Orion in the afterlife? Well, maybe. But today, the mound that exists is a partial reconstruction, I guess. It says the mound to the right of the marker is a reconstruction of a larger mound A. The site was completely excavated in 1938, 1939, under the direction of James A. Ford. The mounds were 1,200 feet south of the French Fork Bayou and 450 feet southwest of the Cypress Bayou. Mound A was a conical mound that stood 21 feet high and 84 feet in diameter. Mound B, 2 feet high when it was investigated about 90 years ago, and 50 feet in diameter, and it was 110 feet southwest of Mound A. Excavations revealed that Mound A had been built in 3 stages. Mound B was a single-stage structure. The mounds held 1,175 burials, 1,159 from Mound A and 13 from Mound B. A lot of the people were just placed in the mounds, but there was some log tombs here, also some stone box grave found down at the bottom of the mounds. But it says pottery accompanied some burials. The weight of the mound fill apparently crushed the vessels. The mounds were used for burials from about 2,100 years ago to around 1,600 years ago. No evidence for domestic structures exists on or near the mounds. Apparently, they were strictly for mortuary purposes. And could there have been 3 originally? And did they represent Orion? Well, that's speculation on my part, but it fits into what they were doing and the way they viewed the heavens. talked about that in my last video, and I'll talk about it again in the future. Now, I believe this is on private property, but they do have the mound site marked here. It says the mound here is a reconstruction of the larger of two burial mounds that archaeologists completely excavated in 1938. And it gives the dimensions here and the years, but it doesn't give a mention that there was almost 1,200 people interred here. And where are they today? Now, here is a post from the Southwest Louisiana Archaeology Facebook page, and it goes into the Crooks Mound in LaSalle Parish, Louisiana, and it says, the burial mound here contained approximately 1,100 burials, and I have heard ranges on that exact total, but this pic was taken April 29th, 1939. Now, here are some other things from the Crooks Mound. A decorated shell, and that seems pretty elaborate right there. Now, here is a skull taken on the Crooks Mound, and where are all the other skeletons? I'm not sure. Here is the effigy pipe, the platform pipe, as it is called, taken out of one of the mounds. And any guesses to what animal is represented here? I haven't really taken a close look at that or thought about that too much. Now, here is a stylized ceramic pottery piece that was taken out of the Crooks site mound here. A lot of these things were found. Here are some drawings of the broken pottery vessels that were found in the burial mounds. And this research is coming from about 80 years ago. Not much is written or known about this site. I wonder why. But that is my video on the Marksville and the Crooksville site here. Where did all those skeletons go to? I haven't really found an answer for that, but I'm cutting it short right there. If you want to look into that a little further, be my guest. I would appreciate it. That is my video on 2 ancient mound sites in Louisiana. I'm going to be getting to some longer videos here in the upcoming days. Going to go deep into the Younger Dryas and what may have happened at that point in history. I know that's an interest to a lot of people, but a video or two from Cali over the next days. Hope you thought that was cool, and you all have a very nice day.